A very good morning to all the students. This video for the class 6 subject science chapter number 7, that is getting to know the plants. This is your lecture number 4. In today's lecture, so the topics to be covered, we are going to cover some topics. So first topic is that is root and the parts of the roots and some function of the roots. Second topic is types of roots. Third is function of roots. The fourth topic is activity number 9, activity number 10 and activity number 11. So let's start today's lecture with the topic first, that is root. So root are very important component of the plant system, as without the presence of the roots the plants cease to exist. Or roots are the non-green structure which grow under the ground. This is because the root perform three major functions essential to the growth and survival of the plant, which are, so the first function is roots are responsible for absorbing the minerals and water from the soil and transferring into the stem. First one is root are absorbing the minerals and water from the soil and transfer into the stem for the further growth. Next function is root is to firmly anchor the plant in the ground. This is essential to support the upright position of the plant. Root is firmly anchored into the plant into the ground because this is essential to support the upright position of the plant. Next is roots also perform the function of storing the important nutrient and food for the growth. Roots also store the important nutrient and the food for the growth. The first function of root is the root are responsible for the absorbing the minerals and water from the soil and then transferred into the stem for the further growth. Second important function is they anchor the plant in the ground because that is essential to support the upright position of the plant. And the third one main function is it also performs the function of storing the important nutrient and the food for the growth of the plant. Moving on our second topic, that is types of roots. There are the two types of roots. First one is taproot and second is fibrous root. Taproot is a one large long root, while the fibrous root is not the one large long root. Taproot penetrates deeply into the soil, but fibrous root doesn't penetrate deeply and it's shallow. Taproot is differentiated the primary root. It is not the differentiated primary root. In taproot, primary root becomes the taproot, but in fibrous root, primary root is eliminated. They doesn't develop from the stem. Taproot doesn't develop from the stem. Fibrous roots are developed from the stem. They have the lateral roots developing from the main root, and in fibrous they do not have the lateral roots developing from the one main root. Here the picture of types of root system. These are the example of the taproot and this plant is the fibrous root example. In taproot, example of plant having the taproot systems are radish, pea, rose, mustard and balsam. And in fibrous root the examples are marigold, cereals and some grasses. Okay. In both type of the roots they are the cluster of very fine hair like structure called the root hair. These fine like structures are root hairs. Okay, they help in water and nutrients are easily absorbed by the root hair. That's why they have the root hair, to easily absorb the water and minerals. Okay, firstly in the taproot they have the thick main root stem downward from the base of the stem of the plant. Okay, they have the smaller roots called the lateral roots that is grown out of the main root Next is the tip of the main root is covered by a thimble shape, that is root cap. Here the root cap is present that protects it from the damage caused by the soil particles. Okay, this is the tap root system, and this one is fibrous root system. Here the number of roots grow out. Here the number of roots are grow out from the base of the stem in the cluster. So these roots are the fibrous root, or we can say these are the adventitious roots. Okay, an example of fibrous roots are marigold, cereals, and some grasses. Moving on our next topic, that is activity number 10. So the aim of this activity is to study the parts of the flower. So material required are, we would require one bud, okay, 2 fresh flowers, and a blade, glass slide or a sheet of a paper, and a magnifying glass and some water. Okay, firstly, this is a procedure. Firstly, observe carefully the flower part and look at the prominent part of the open flower. These are the petals of the flowers. Then different flowers have the petals of the different colors also. So where do you think the petals are in a closed bud, and which is the most prominent part in a bud? Did you see that this part is made up of small leaf-like structure? From here, by using the magnifying glass, you can see the each and every part of the flower. So the question that you have to answer is, how many sepals does it have, or are they joined together or not, and what are the colors of the petals and the sepals, and how many petals does your flower have, or they joined to one another, or are they separate? Okay, so these are the questions that you have to answer in your science notebook. Firstly, make a table based on all these observation of the parts of the flower. Observation on the flower, first one is the name of the flower, what you are going to use. Second is the number and the color of the petals, and number and the color of the sepals. Or and third thing is, are the sepals joined together or separate? Okay, and next is stamen, are they free or joined together? So you have to answer all these things and make a table of this part of the flower in observation table. Okay, next moving on another topic, that is activity number 11. So in activity 11, what you have to do, firstly we have to study the structure of ovary. The material required to perform this activity is ovary of a flower, a blade, and water. So let us now study the structure of an ovary of a flower. So as you all of know that ovary is the lowermost and the swollen part of the pistil. Okay, firstly look at this figure and carefully to understand how to cut the ovary of a flower. So careful to understand how to cut the ovary of a flower. Then take the 2 ovaries from the different flower, cut them with the help of a blade. Firstly take the blade, okay, take the 2 ovaries from the different flower, cut them in a different way. Firstly cut from here in the middle of the part of the ovary. To prevent them from the drying, put a drop of water on each of the 2 pieces of the ovary that you have cut. Okay, after that you will see this ovule part when we cutted that ovary part. Okay, so observe the inner part of the ovary using a lens. Do you see some small beads like the structure inside the ovaries? They are called as ovule. So you have to draw and label the inner part of the ovary in your notebook. Next is the homework solution of lecture number 3. So the first question is fill in the blanks. First is the small green leaves at the base of the flower are known as sepals. Second is the swollen basal part of the pistil is ovary, that bears some ovules that is present in the ovary. Third question is, stamen has the two parts called filament and anther. Filament is just like a stalk and anther is a swollen part that is present above the filament. Fourth one is the young unopened flower is termed as bud. Bud is the early stage of a flower. Next question is question number 2. Can the stem of a plant be compared with a street with two-way traffic? Give reason. So the answer is yes, the stem of the plant can be easily compared with the street with the two-way traffic because stem transport water, minerals and food. So stem is called a two-way street because it transports mineral, water and food. Now it's time for the homework of lecture number 4. You have to solve the NCERT question number 1, question number 2, question number 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. That is given in your NCERT book. Solve all these questions and write it down in your science notebook. So this is it about this lecture. Hope you have understood this lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.